Welcome, everybody. Give yourself an applause for being here, first of all. All right. It's an honor to have you guys here because it's the first time we're doing this event. So congratulations. You all got fooled to come into a full-day podcast. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to exchange knowledge, exchange emotions, and hopefully at the end exchange context for the future, because this is what this business is about. It's about networking in a genuine, sincere way with each other, talking, exchanging knowledge, and building friendships. It's not only about basketball. It's about life. It's about friendships. It's about a little bit more deeper, intrinsic value system that we build for the future. So hopefully this will be an event for the future with this kind of value system where we can connect and stay in touch and help each other in the future. Because at the end, my job is also help other teams help me with information, and you can only help each other if you trust each other. So building a foundation for trust is very important, and this is the event for that. So first things first, there's going to be a lot of side events. You're going to have obviously workshops for everyone that signed up. The workshops, you have to come prepared and ask the specialist, our guests, questions, okay? Anything that you're concerned about, anything that you experience, be proactive in asking questions that you faced throughout your season, throughout your career, that you had to solve, and you wonder how the coach or the sports director later on also, or strength and conditioning coach, how they solve these problems. So this is first. Second thing we're going to have in the breaks, we're going to have a speed coaching session, aka speed dating, just to get to know each other. But we're going to select, before the first break, I'm going to select 10 people, 10 coaches for the first one, to hopefully have a variety of nations participating, because we have Romania here, we have Lithuania, obviously, UK, Estonia, Spain, Italy, Austria, Denmark. So we have a wide variety of nations in this room, and hopefully we can get to know each other and build something for the future through the speed dating as well. There's going to be topics thrown out that you can discuss and see how you feel about it, and then discuss more with the sponsors. The sponsor booths you saw, please go over there, talk to them, get to know each other, get to know what they're presenting to you, because everybody here that's supporting this event also brings value to the event with their products. So the products are also important for you, for the clubs, to use in a very unique and important way. 6 cars outside for you guys in order to win 2 tickets to the game in Lithuania in Latvia. So you can guess the balls, how many balls are in there. If you want to participate in Paulius Motiejūnas' Q&A tomorrow morning in the other building, sign up online with your ticket, limited spots available only. So first come, first serve, 65 more or less, and then you have to, then we're done. So that's also the key message that I wanted to send. But overall, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we can start this event. But first things first, before we talk to Vincent Collet, our friend Raimund from Germany, representing Kinexon, our main sponsor, our first main sponsor, who put this event, gave us a boost from the beginning. Please welcome Raimund, and yeah. Tell us more about Kinexon.
Well, thank you. So what to say as a sponsor to this first edition and this great event. First of all, I would like to thank Benas reaching out to us, inviting us here, being a sponsor, and becoming part, hopefully, of this event and this new series and the community we are trying to build. And as he said, it's about relationship, it's about hopefully some friendships, etc. So I think this is really important, being in the business now for about 25-ish years. But anyway, so yes, we are Kinexon. I don't know, some of you may know us already, some might don't know us. So first of all, yes, please come to the booth. Let's talk about some performance, some data, some strategies you may have in your clubs, where we can maybe support and help. Kinexon is a German brand. We exist since 2012. We are in the performance business since then. Everything started more or less with basketball in our company. So we work with teams across the globe, from smaller teams to bigger teams to EuroLeague teams to NBA teams. But also, as I said, we would like to talk to everybody here, or I would like. I'm by myself. So yeah, I'm super happy to be here, seeing you all, and hopefully we have an awesome day. I know we will, and then continue this in the upcoming years. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, great. So now, without further ado, please welcome Vincent Collet. Welcome in Vilnius. Welcome to Vilnius.
Thank you very much.
You've been to Lithuania quite a bit. How do you feel this time around? A little bit more relaxed?
First of all, I discover the city a little bit more, because when we have played in Vilnius, we were never at this hotel, and we were on the side of the city, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, so Vilnius is, I think, one of the most underrated cities, because as much as I travel, I always like to come back in Vilnius, especially in the summertime, because if the weather is decent, then you can enjoy a good walk, and it's a very cozy city. Many people may not know, but some people, the experts, will probably know, but that you also worked with the Cavaliers this year. Can you dive a little bit deeper into the role that you had with the Cavaliers, and how often you came over to Cleveland?
It was a little role,
yeah.
but it came from my friendship with the new head coach, who was my assistant coach last year for the Olympics, Kenny Atkinson. And after the Olympic Games, he asked me to become his consultant coach with the Cavs. So for me, it was a new experience, a way to come in the league and watch how they were working, the difference. And there are big difference with Europe, so it's always interesting to live a new experience.
What were the main differences? Because we know, like, the basketball style is different, NBA to Europe. The philosophies are different, Players League versus Coaches League. What were the first things that you discovered going over to the coaching staff in Cleveland that were vastly different?
The first thing you see is the level of organization. When the first coach meeting in pre-season, we were 15 coaches. So for sure, even in national team, we never had stuff like this. And it allows different things. The coaches used to play against the players at practice. So this is something very, very special. But also, for instance, I think one of the things they do much better than us is the way they finish at the basket. But they practice it every day because of the coaches. When you do layup situation in Europe, very often you do them alone. You always have somebody who put contact, who is going to push you, another one who is going to try to block your shot. And I think with repetition, finally it comes to the top level. And this was something special. Everything about the shooting practice too. It's about the same, with a variety of situation. Before that, I thought they were not really working, but it's not true. It's a different way. On the other hand, we never practice 5-on-5 at practice. First of all, we don't practice very often, but when we do it, very few times we really go to scrimmage, because there are so many games, and it's always about breakdown. Means we decide of a situation that we want to see, and we are going to do it during 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and after we go to the next station. And practice is not lasting more than 1 hour.
Yeah. It's generally considered, from what I always observe, very efficient. time-efficient practices. Everybody comes in before practice officially starts, doing their individual work, their activation, and different shooting drills with their coaches, and then more or less during the season, it's probably between 50 minutes and an hour on and off the court, and then afterwards the players go back with their coaches and work on their other things or get treatment, or everybody has also some personal trainers that they have with them. I don't know how it was in Cleveland. We have some also that they have in Boston, their personal trainers that they can work with after practices.
Yeah, they could have. Not all the players for sure, but the stars can have. But the main thing is what you said. There is a big individual part to prepare what they do in the weight room and the individual workout. But this depends who they are. The stars, sometimes they just do 10 minutes. And the young guys, they have to respect a plan. For them, it could be sometimes 2 hours. They really try to develop them. But in my opinion, what I observe, it doesn't replace teaching game. And for sure, they get better tools, better skills. The young guys, I talk about the young guys. But as long as they don't really learn the game, it's still missing compared to Europe. And that's why I think our young guys are leaving too early most often.
Leaving too early to
NBA.
To NBA. They're going to, yeah. It's underrated of how much individual work there is, and how much development there is, how much investing in the young players is, and that's one thing that obviously we have also some individual coaches that are here. The investment into individual coaches in the U.S. is much more significant and less of a physical load because there's less contact, but more load on the development. What do you think is the right way to do it? What's the balance between team development and individual development?
I think there is a risk in Europe too. I observed that in France. When the young players, they come to INSEP, for instance, so they are 15, 16, very often their family asks for who will be the individual coach. My son need to practice individual. And this is a belief now for them that this is the most important. But the most important for me remains to learn the game. And because you can add, and you could see that with NBA. In NBA, you could keep developing the individual skills, but once again, much more difficult to develop the knowledge of the game. And this, for me, has to remain our specificity. And for sure, we cannot go another direction than the best level. So we also need to take care of the individual development, but mustn't replace. And sometimes the young kids, they think they have to replace basketball teaching by individual. And this, for me, is a huge mistake.
Yeah, it's over-prioritized, I think, in many regards. It's like a little hype at some point, but there's a balance where it's necessary and it's needed, and it's also you have to have some personal development with the individual development on the court, because the coaches also spend a lot of time with the players individually, so they also have to raise them basically with their mindset. But the learning the game itself, you learn it by playing 5-on-5.
On whatever, I think everything which is individual, you have to do a certain part outside of the court by yourself. Mm-hmm. All the best shooters, for instance, it's not only because they practice with their team more. It's because when they were very young, they play with their own ball on the outside court, and they repeat, and I think it's good also for instinct, which is something you cannot teach. Mm-hmm. And the best players, they have this, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's the repetition thing that everybody who, I think 95% of the people in this room have played and went to the playground and 7, 8, 9 years old, and you learn by just improvising also. You learn to react to the other body, and you learn how to use your body.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think what is individual sometimes has to remain individual. And the main thing for us, if we want to keep our specificity and characteristic, is to keep teaching the game.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised with our last drafted last year, for instance, between his individual skills and his knowledge of the game, there was the sea. It was so much different. I was comparing to young guys we can have in Europe. He was much delayed with knowledge of the game.
Yeah. Just a quick reminder: you can ask questions here. It's going to come on my iPad, and then towards the end, I will bring up some questions that you asked.
And excuse me, but to finish that, I think it comes also the way they know themselves. I don't think they insist a lot on this point, and the way we try to do with the young guys in Europe, we make them know what are their best know-how, where they have real weaknesses they have to get better, and the use of this best know-how is most often a key to be on the court, and I'm not sure they do that much in the States.
INSEP is a key word in transition and youth development, and in France the system is working, obviously, because of the success that has been also funneled towards the national team throughout especially last 15 years, let's say, because of how the progression was. How is INSEP selecting the players early on regionally? How are they bringing them to INSEP, and what's the progress for a young prospect from France to go all the way from INSEP then to the pros?
You're right when you said we got better, but I think we should do better.
Better even.
But the process got much better since 15 years. In fact, we have two different moments in the year before they enter the INSEP. It's concerning the under 15, and the way the federation made with the under 15, they created teams in each region. So in October we have a big meeting where all the teams from different regions comes, and we have 80 young guys, 80 boys and 80 girls. And from these 80, we select 40. And we have another big meeting in December, just before Christmas, 4 days. And they come from everywhere too, the best 40. And we make them play each afternoon. We create teams. And every morning they do fundamentals. Mm-hmm. And after 4 days, we're supposed to select 10 or 12 for the next year. And to be honest, we do less mistakes than before. Mm-hmm. Before we missed a lot of players. That's why I had the chance to coach Nicolas Batum when he was 15, because they refused him at the INSEP.
Wow.
So it's... but it couldn't happen anymore now, I think. The way we do now, we are better to select the best. But I think we must do better with what we do when they come in INSEP. And for instance, individual coach, we don't have in INSEP now, and we should, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think it's coming from that's what I heard. Yeah.
We plan it.
Yeah. So one thing that I was also observing from juniors, but all the way to the national team, that a lot of plays also that they play in INSEP are transferred. Is it transferable from INSEP to the national team, because the players and the bodies are obviously different? But I've seen the stagger plays that you play, that you play with your national team, that I also see run in the INSEP system. And it's something adaptable because you were an expert and a specialist in creating options out of that and reads out of it. When you had Boris Diaw, also you have a passing big who can easily read when the defender goes over the screen, under the screen, and he can make the pass the right way. But for the junior level, is it something that you guys implemented? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I saw. That is for them to be able to read the game better and then come to the pro level.
We have at the federation we have a performance director, and his belief was that the A team, adults team, had to be what we have to follow. So we did it also for INSEP, but. You know, it's a lot about who we are. When I first came in 2009, we tried to evaluate why we were not that good and how we could be better. And obviously, our knowledge of the game was not at the level of the best teams, Lietuva, for instance, but Spain or I don't know, Greece, perhaps at this time, and. We knew exactly that we had to be better the way we teach our players. We had our specific qualities. Athleticism was probably the best in Europe, but we couldn't be the best or among the best if we were not better the way we were playing, and it was coming from decision making and teach, as you said, but using our qualities. So, for instance, way of the screens was very important for us because on long V-cut, for instance, we had this ability to run very fast and to use it. But if you only run fast, but you don't know where the defender, it doesn't mean anything. So we were focusing on special points to increase a little bit our smartness, basketball IQ. I never thought we could quickly come back on the best countries. I still know, even when we made results, when we won Euro, for instance, it was not because we were playing better. We were not able to do that. But we were not as bad as we were before. So it was the first step to come back. And with the young guys, we really made efforts to teach. But you know, I went to visit Marcellini's school 20 years ago, and I was impressed. The young kids, when they got the ball, nobody could attack them. You must let them pass the ball. And when I came back to France, I explained that probably it was creating the fact that the players, they watch who they can pass the ball first before going. Us, if you go to see under 9 kids in France, there is one, the fastest one, he gets the ball and he's dribbling everywhere and everybody is running behind him. So that's two different philosophy. So we had to implement something else, and that's what we tried since 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I think in Lithuania, even though I didn't grow up in Lithuania, but from experiencing and watching and seeing and comparing, we always relied more on the team game and passing the ball because lack of athleticism, speed. We never had we had some primetime athletes, but in general, we always had to rely on moving the ball, moving the defense around to create advantages through ball movement and not through athleticism. And that's why in Lithuania, I remember very clearly in 2013, we went to the final against France, and we didn't have one player averaging more than 10 points. Everybody was in single digits, because we had a good balance and well-balanced offense in general, and every game somebody else stepped up. And I think in other nations, also in the NBA, you have the main players who are the scorers, who are generally in the US, the game is a little bit different in terms of mindset and creating for themselves and playing one-on-one, two-on-two. Through that, ball movement occurs. In Lithuania, it's the reverse. Ball movement occurs first to create an advantage through wherever the weakness arrives.
Yeah, it is obvious. Best with Serbia, best passing team and shooting team too. And these two things for sure, as basketball. Us, we knew what were the limit. We could run fast, we could jump high, but we also knew what the opponents were thinking about us. You slow them down, you play zone, and it's okay, you're gonna win the game. So we decided to have a specific work on this aspect. I remember my first year with national team, we were spending 1/3 of the time to prepare zone offense, and I couldn't create shooters like this. It's impossible. So our first focus was to be able to bring the ball inside and to work with a passing relation, to bring the ball high post, for instance, and to have special offense. And we were, I remember it was a surprise sometime when we played Croatia, my first Euro. Sparia, he tried to use zone every time against us, and we were scoring inside the first bucket, and after that he had to choose if he stay in zone or come back to man, and it was something new, and I think that helped us to become different. But once again, we were not as good as the other teams to pass the ball, to move the ball, but we were not as bad as we were before. And simply to improve these weaknesses allowed us to be a better team, because we still had some characteristic and fast break situations, the way we can run the floor when we put pressure in defense, because defense is also something for sure very, very important, and that's where we could be better. And I am not going to give tools to Lithuania, but I know when we were playing against Lithuania, we always wanted to insist on the V-cuts, but long V-cuts, to create space separation. And even before setting, for instance, the ball screen, the middle pick and roll, when we had Tony Parker, very often we were coming from far with quickness to create separation again, to use our qualities to hurt theirs, as you said. And it was something, but we knew on the other hand that probably we will play against a defensive block. They will be stunting, they will take risk probably on our outside shots. But it was even more important for us to swing the ball, to create defensive closeout and stuff like that, where they could be in trouble.
Yeah, your goal is create longer distances for longer closeouts and then create the advantage that way. Let's talk about a little bit about the youth mindset, because in essence, we all know that the generations are shifting, the attitude is shifting. Last year I talked about it a lot, and about how easy life has become in general. The hungriness is not there as it used to be. In Lithuania, it used to be much harder, and we built character that way. And now, in general, I witness it across Europe, where it's a little bit more of an entitlement, where young players come into the new systems with an entitlement already that they deserve something. They already deserve, and they achieved something. How is that in France? How is the mindset in France of the young generation? Has it shifted also? Has it changed also? Is the potential, at what capacity is France operating right now? Because to understand what the potential still is it 80%? Is it 90% in terms of mindset that's missing to get to the full 100%?
I think you're totally right, and we observe the same thing. The main problem for us is we have more and more NBA prospects, but not all of them could be NBA prospect. but most often when they are 15, 16, they all think about NBA. And even if they wouldn't think about it, they always have beside them, it can be agent, but not only agent, family, people who tell them that they have a chance. And I think it's really bad. And you could see that with the under-19 team last week. I was there in Lausanne. The spirit was not good because these kids, and they got destroyed after they got beaten by Team USA, because they thought before they could play against them, and they discovered it was not the case, and that shows the spirit is not what he should be. But for me, it's still a battle that we can win. But we have to win. We have to influence them more than they get influenced by other people. And it's all about the relationship you can create with these kids. Once they trust you, once they understand you are the one that can help them to reach their goals, it changes. But it's more and more difficult for sure, because you, as a coach, sometimes you have to be tough, and they have beside them people who are almost never tough and make them think they are the best. When it goes wrong, it's not because of them, it's because of the coach that don't give them the responsibilities or the confidence they deserve. So it's a real battle, but I think it's not lost. You have to fight and to create this relation and this confidence, because once you get it, after you can even go hard after the players, but they know that you are the one that will make them be successful.
Yeah, gaining trust and getting through to them to create the environment of trust, also create the environment of growth. Because the people, like you said, the people a lot of times around, and they see money. And the money is the get it all, and that's the
even the family.
Yeah.
Sometimes the family is the worst point, and you must take him away from the family, and you must for sure you need to be diplomat, because you cannot do that. Okay, it's out of question just to say don't see your family anymore, but you must make him understand that these reasons, family, they want the best for him for sure, but not always for the good reason. So that's something you can emphasize the way you work with him. I used to say to the players, me, I have nothing to win if they go to NBA. My life is not going to change, not at all. But it's just the challenge, which is interesting, what we can do together to get better, to grow. And you talk about growth, and I think it's very important to focus on this point. That's with the tools they have, and they have a lot very often. And you were talking about the system earlier. Last year, it was Generation 210, and I think it's the best one I have seen the last 5-6 years.
You said that, yeah. I'm scared.
I don't want to.
What's coming next? So good transition into creating environment of trust and criticism and being able to criticize. My favorite topic, who can guess it? Communication. Thank you very much. So communication within the national team with superstars. You have a whole row of superstars and legends on the French national team. How do you criticize directly? Do you criticize in front of everybody? Do you pull them to the side? Is it depending on the individual? And we're going to get later to another follow-up question after that. But I'm wondering, in terms of attacking the players in front of everybody, how do you balance the criticizing the stars?
It was a special situation because the first superstar was Tony Parker, and he was with Coach Popovich in San Antonio. And in San Antonio, Coach Popovich very often used him, Duncan, and Ginobili to criticize the team. Because he had explained to them, if I can do it with your guys, I can do it with everybody. And one thing is sure for me, the superstar is a model. And the way the model is doing is going to involve behavior for the rest of the team. So when I first came with Tony Parker, we had a first meeting, and he asked me this question. He said, the former coach, it was Claude Bergeau before, said Tony was too good for the rest of the team. So he asked me, do you think I am too good? And I said, no, I don't think. I think we can never say that. I never heard somebody complain that Nowitzki was too good for the German team. But I think what we can do together is to help the other to be better. It's not question that you go down and the rest. No, it's a question that the teams has to improve. And so he asked me how I can do that, and I told him the way you practice, for instance, is not fair for the rest of the team, because very often he was practicing slowly, and he was telling me, but you know, I will be ready. And I say, yeah, I know that you will be ready, but not sure the others will be ready. So you have to, I prefer that sometimes you sit down on the side watching the practice, but when you are there, you must be 100% to make them know it's time to work hard together and to prepare
to raise everybody's level.
To raise everybody's level. Yeah. And he understood that. And the second thing with him was about the way he had to take the game for him. He had tendency to do it anytime. And I tried to explain him. There were some moments in the game, others could be good, and at this time it would be great if he can let them play, if he can help them to be good. And there were some moments in the game, it can be the end for sure, money time, but sometimes it can be at the beginning. If you play in Lithuania, for instance, you know the first 5 minutes could be tough. He had to be the boss. And step by step, we did a good job on this aspect. But all this was individual conversation. But after a while, he came to me and said, Vincent, when we do video, he explained me what was done with the Spurs. And he said, you must do the same. When you want to go hard after the team, start with me on Boris Diaw, because we are the best players of the team, and it will be much more meaningful for the rest of the team. So we started, but it was more because they gave me this authorization.
Green light.
This green light, that me first.
Yeah. It starts with the leaders. Everything starts with leaders. The intensity of the leaders in practices, in games, in the locker room, everything starts and ends with the leadership on the team. The next question, there was also a question about what your opinion is about naturalized players. Do you have an opinion about that?
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was happy that Embiid didn't come last year. I think we don't need that. I can understand why certain teams are doing it, but for me, it's not fair. It's different. It's completely different if a player has been playing in a country when he was young, and this is different. But as certain teams are doing, one summer it becomes with a nationality. I don't think it's fair.
It skews the whole picture of the nation, of the basketball style. It skews if either nobody does it or everybody is obliged to do it. To have one. But I don't like the mix of it.
But it's if you observe, most often it's a point guard.
Yeah, yeah.
because it's a little bit the weakness of European countries.
Yeah.
This player is more and more creative players.
Speed.
He needs speed, quickness, and many countries we don't have.
Let's talk about one more time about the communication aspect with stars of making the decision and what the decision-making process is of benching a star player. When we have to look forward and to anticipate what could happen and what you see if that is working or not working. What do you see when the superstar is not performing up to his level and actually is not helping the team, although he's probably the most talented player on that team?
It's for sure this is a difficult moment, but when you are in international competition, it's lasting 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum, and very quickly you observe in the first games what is working good, what is not working good, and we were in position last year because I think you talk about that. We were not good in the group phase. We didn't have offensive balance playing together, Gobert and Victor Wembanyama, and it was obvious for me after the first game of the group phase that we won't be successful with them two playing a lot of minutes for this reason, because international basketball is different. Rudy has no real tools away from the basket, and anytime he was playing with Victor, it made Victor play only perimeter, far from the basket, and also anytime Rudy was not in the dunking zone, his defender could be defending something else. And this is not acceptable at this level. To find spacing, we had to create a better balance and bring in Yabusele in the starting five, change completely the picture, because Gershon is really efficient from outside, so you cannot leave him. And that gave opportunity for Wemby to mix more, to move more. And Wemby he needs to move to be really efficient. He's not a position player. I know he's 7'4", but that's when he's moving that he is the best. And that gave him opportunity to go inside, to go out, to take three. But it changed completely the way our opponents could play defense against us. So this was important, and I think it gave also energy to the rest of the team, because everybody knew it was a tough decision, and somewhere the rest of the team received it as a real will determination from the coaching staff to win.
It gained respect. It gained the players bought in even more.
It was a lot about again relation for sure. Yeah. I talk a lot with Rudy to explain him that it was not personal at all. With different condition, it wouldn't be the same. And which would be the different condition? For instance, to have Hurtel as point guard, because Hurtel was the best one to use Rudy underneath. He was finding him very well on pick and roll. But last year, among the guards we had, none of them was able to make these passes. Mm-hmm. So the use of Rudy was more difficult than it was before with Thomas Hurtel, for instance, who was one of the best passers against, for instance, edge defense.
Yeah, that was my question. The next question: that how did the locker room handle this decision versus how did Rudy handle this decision? But you basically
Rudy was very professional. Mm-hmm. For sure, he was not happy, and I know he complained with his agent. I know because he is also my agent.
See, direct line.
It was easy to know, but inside he was great. he kept focusing, he kept practicing very well, he was preparing. And I said him after the quarterfinals that it could change. Germany was a different team than Canada. They had very tall big men, and it was more possible to play with two big men. Same against Team USA to hurt them. Team USA, they switch everything. So it was easier to play with two big men together.
There's a couple of questions that I would like to go also over. For the players not selected to INSEP, do you have a support system for the kids who are don't go to the INSEP?
Yeah, we have the chance. Our league, they are obliged to have a youth team. You know that they play on this since now 25, 30 years. They play 3 hours before the main team. So each club, not in Pro B now, and we are going to stop it in Pro B because not enough money, but each Pro A team has to have a youth team with a professional team. So Espoir, we call them Espoir, but the main thing that they play before the pro team. So when they become close from the pro team, they can play at 5 with the Espoir team, and they can make the bench with the pro team. And this is a good way to start to enter the professional level. Because if you don't have that, they can stay in the bench and not play, and this is not good. To develop, it's good when they can play.
What was the most difficult part of your career? If I now ask you straight, what do you remember now? You maybe should have done something different, and you feel like there's something you learned from that. Yeah. Basically, your favorite failure. That's my favorite question.
I had 2-3 very difficult moments coming back from national team because I was coaching clubs, and this was difficult. Almost never when I came back, but you finish middle of September. Your assistant coaches have done the preparation. You come back, and the next week you start the championship. Very often, especially when we did good with the French team, it was easy to restart because you have energy, you are happy. But in November, 2-3 times, it was very tough. It was not far from burnout. I love basketball, but there was moments sometimes it was difficult. And my other regret was after the World Cup in Spain in 2014, during winter, I received an offer from Olympiacos, and I didn't go. It was a huge, huge mistake, but I didn't know. I was in the flow, and my team, I had made come young guys like Antoinio, I don't know, I think Lacombe, and I didn't want to betray them going during the same season somewhere else. But I should because the year after they left.
that's the downside. Yeah, but it's business at the end of the day. Yeah. Question about national team: did you do any defensive adjustments every game against different offensive sets, or did you play default defense in every situation?
No, we do defensively. We always do adjustment, and as all the teams. More and more, we think about the individuals. For sure, we have a main system, but we focus a lot on individuals. And to give precise examples, if we play against Kalnietis, we don't want him to go to the right.
Of course.
we will push him. We can do weak defense on a zipper and the middle ball screens. We can completely refuse we chase him on the catch, and as soon as he gets the ball, push him in the left. So we weak him with a stunt from the first passer. And things like that we always do with the national team, and same with the big men. Anytime we have shooting big men, we're gonna either switch or what we call a fake show. We just
Short
do
show.
a short show to get back. We try to adjust to the qualities of opponents, but we have a system for sure, a main organization, but we try to adjust with this organization. Offensively, it's different. We are going to use more, for instance, post-up on certain teams. When we were playing Canada, for instance, we knew they were switching a lot and that they were not used to defend mismatch because over there in NBA, the way they use switching defense, it's always a guard against the big. They don't go at the big very often. In Europe, we mix. And we were thinking that they couldn't anticipate the fact we will try to kill them in the paint. And us, it's also because of the personnel, with having Losser, Yabusele, they are very good to post up against mismatch. That's
Let me challenge you on the short show, because that's the defense that I probably despise the most. If you are the big guy defending a shooting big, and you have a really, let's say, Tony Parker, who's really good going to his right, and really gets to his spots and gets to where he wants, gets to the paint. Good guards have a good way of hesitating and attacking the short show.
Tony especially.
Yeah. How do you adjust to the guard? Do you adjust to the big, because it's a problem? You give up the guard drive, or you give up the shot if you go into a shot.
I think this is the real adjustment.
Yeah.
You need to know exactly what are the main strengths of opponents and to weaken them when you have to make decisions. And that's why it's so difficult at the highest level, because there are not so many weaknesses, and you must often choose your best boys. So with Parker, for instance, with us, obviously you had to stop him first. So probably the short show was not enough.
Yeah.
And it was better, and especially with French team, better to give room to our four men than letting go all the way to the basket. And short show defense, we were calling it Pietrus defense. Because he was, for me, the best in Europe to do that. He was that quick to make that step, aggressive, and he was really attacking the ball. So the guard has to back up and give a chance to on-ball defender to get back in front. Not so many bigs can do that. Very often they do it with arms, but not really. And that's why the ball can keep progressing. So that's a little difference. But I think in this situation, and that's what happened to us, the teams, they were not scared of our shooting ability. So when they had a risk to take, it was this one.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so much important for us to have rhythm, to create a fast break and transition situation, because when the defense was there, very often they were stunting and packing a lot, and even for Tony, it was not so easy to drive.
Yeah. Quick question on development again that popped into my head. Working with Victor in Metropolitan, how hard? What were the difficult parts of his development? What were the easy parts of his development?
The easy part is Victor himself, because he's a very smart kid and he knows where he wants to go. The difficult part was to make him understand for such a player. At the beginning, he was asking me what I must work to be better, shoot, dribble, and my answer was, you must learn who you play with and how you can make them be better, because you want to be among the best players in the world, and I don't know one of them who is not influencing a better performance for teammates.
Mm-hmm.
So you must learn that. And for instance, Jokic was the perfect example. So we started to think about it. He would like that I would be working out with him every day, and I was doing sometimes more for the inside game, because his tendency is to take threes, and he wants to become a better three-point shooter. But we were talking. Most of the things we were doing together was a conversation every day about what he has done in the practice, in the last game, and how he can be better. Reading feedback with a video about situation, never forbidding things, but always showing that he could do something else. He did, for instance, he was driving to the basket, he could pass the ball and cut, to make him discover things by himself, that he could appropriate a different way to read the game. And it's a daily basis to have discussion with, but not only about basketball, sometimes also about life, as you said earlier, which is important with young guys, because he was only 18, and he was fantastic prospect, but still 18. And when you are 18, you need to learn things and to develop all the way, not only basketball. To become a better player, you need to become a better human being first.
Bravo. That's the perfect sentence to end this conversation. In order to become a better basketball player, you need to become a better person first. So thank you very much for this.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Now, I will let you go with Erikas to the workshop. Everybody who signed up for Vincent's workshop, you can follow through that door in the back. And we're going to have like a quick 5 minute, 3.5, 4 minute intermission just for me to drink some water. But